John Matthews, my good podcast pal.
Yes, Ben, my archenemy.
How are you at rapping?
Well, my name is John, and I'm here to say I rap for you most every day.
That answers that one, then.
Thank you.
Well, what about a wrap-up?
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It should do, because that's what we're going to do today on Alfsplaining with me, Ben Baker.
And me, MC John Matthews.
Yes, of course. Your professional name, obviously.
Yes,
you don't have another alias, obviously, that you could have used there.
No.
At all.
No, for tax purposes.
So, we're going to do a wrap-up based on Season 2, not only of Alf, but Alfsplaining, looking back at all the fun and merriment and antics we've had over the last, I want to say about 17 years, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't remember a great deal of merriment or antics, but I do remember 17 years of content.
That's what we need, a t-shirt with that on. Alfsplaining, 17 years of content. And a nice flowing banner. It would be wonderful. I think we'll get all the guests next year with that.
Something to look forward to, listeners.
Yeah, we've done well so far this year. You know, we've had some fantastic guests joining us. Not just them celeb writer American types, so it was lovely to have Mike and Reese on. But
Mike and Al.
Mike and Reese is
Mike
what I
and
said.
Reese.
Mike and Reese. Mike and Reese, yeah, we have Mike and Reese on. Can you tell it's the end of the season?
It's been a long year, listeners. It's been a long, troubling year. We've been trying to keep to the original schedule air dates, which we didn't do in the first. When we did season 1 of Alpha Course, we just churned them out, willy and, if you will, nilly.
William and Illiam.
But no, this year we decided to keep it a nice, gentle pace going, which I hope is reflected in the quality of our podcasts.
And also, A Nice Gentle Pace is the name of Norman Pace's podcast. So I'd like to give that a shout out if we could. Good guy. I wish he did. I wish Norman Pace did have a podcast. I would listen to it.
I don't know if I would.
I don't, but only if Hale wasn't never on it. You know,
even if he was silent, you'd know he'd be there doing his grin face in the background, wouldn't you?
Yeah, cheeky man.
He'd be doing his grin.
I would consider us very much the modern day Hale and Pace.
We're sort of we're the pace and pace, really, aren't we?
I mean, pacemaker and pacemaker, definitely. Yeah. So, we're going to look back at the former Mr. Alf.
Well, what is he now?
Madame? No. So we're going to look over the season of Alf, which was, where do you think, in total, in all the programs that were on in America between 1987 and 1988 that were on the major 4 networks, where do you think Alf finished?
Overall, I think he must have been top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Number 15.
It was number 10. Number
was
10.
He?
Yeah,
Wow.
tied with The Wonder Years. 18.8 million was the average. So above it, and again, this is quite, it shows what sort of esteemed company Alf was in. So number 9, Murder, She Wrote.
No.
Number 8, 60 Minutes. Number 7, Night Court. Number 6, Who's the Boss? Number 5, Growing Pains. Number 4, The Golden Girls.
Oh, cool.
Number 3, Cheers.
Yeah.
Number 2, A Different World. And number 1, The Cosby Show. So there you go. It's rarefied air that Alf is imbibing there.
Alf as a cultural touch point of the 1980s is very much the case at this point, isn't he? He is very much that 80s reference we know and love.
Yeah, and I mean, it came ahead of Moonlighting, Monday Night Football, Family Ties, and Matlock, who were all beneath it.
They're in more ways than one.
And I also found the bottom 5 shows for that season. All of which were for the pretty new Fox network.
They weren't all written by Mike and Al, were they?
No, Mike and Reese never wrote any of these. I don't think they did anyway. The bottom 5, nearly all sitcoms. Mr. President, a sitcom co-created by Johnny Carson, starring George C. Scott as the newly elected president.
Next Sunday on Mr. President.
You see him as a husband. I see him as the most powerful leader in the free world.
Can the First Lady trick the President into spending time with his family?
How dare you go behind my back and try to manipulate me?
Mr. President.
I keep thinking the leader of the free world should have better legs.
Next Sunday on Fox.
Never heard of it.
That lasted 2 series. The Dirty Dozen, the TV series.
Was that a sitcom?
No, sadly not. That was a spin-off. Boys Will Be Boys, which was originally a show called Second Chance, which I talked about in a former life, which is basically a sitcom where a man goes to heaven and they say, well, you're not bad enough for hell, but you're not good enough for heaven. So we're going to send you back down to earth when you were younger to meet your younger self and try and steer you in the right direction.
Oh, okay.
And that is indeed what happens. And the younger version, so the older one is Keel Martin, and the younger one is Matthew Perry.
Oh, right. Yes.
And after 9 episodes, it stopped before returning in January 1988 with a new title, Boys Will Be Boys, which just got rid of all the supernatural nonsense. It just was like, yeah, he's just Matthew Perry hanging out with his mates now.
So we were supposed to forget about all that, were we?
Yeah.
Oh,
and that lasted another, series. So,
well, what a mess.
What else was there? The New Adventures of Beans Baxter.
What?
Coming Saturdays on Fox.
My friends come in beans.
Beans. He's an ordinary teenager with an extraordinary job.
Fine beans, Baxter.
Oh, you're going to go through the roof.
If you think summers are for reruns, you don't know Beans.
The New Adventures of Beans Baxter.
Beans Baxter, not the Beans Baxter. Please, Mr. Baxter is my father. Call me Beans.
Yeah. A Kansas teenager who just moved in with his parents, a younger brother to Washington, and learns spy things. And apparently had occasional guest appearances by Wendy O. Williams.
Oh, really?
His part-time friend and enemy in the spy world. So I quite fancy watching that, actually.
Yeah, it'll stick in my mind after we've finished
Steve
recording
Holland.
this, so I'll definitely look that one up.
And finally, Women in Prison,
Ah,
which was a sitcom,
was it?
yeah, about women in prison.
I understand that some of you don't think women in prison is funny. Well, you're wrong. Prison can be a riot.
Somebody say riot?
Poor choice of words. In fact, Fox has asked me to make sure conditions around here get funnier. Starting now, we're going to do things my way. Think of this as Meg Bando's finishing school. If they don't make you laugh, they're finished.
It's the new and improved Women in Prison, Saturday on Fox.
So there you go. That was the times that Alf shone in. These are the things.
Yeah.
You know, the
Alf
very much
shining time.
the hoy and the polloin. Now, last year we did our top 5 favourites and least favourites of the series. Unlike last year, it was actually a lot harder to come up with not very good episodes because, as we've said, throughout the series, the gag levels are just much, much higher. It's just, even when it's a sort of slightly ropier episode, they're still really funny.
Yeah, the quality level, the baseline is much higher than last year, which is thanks to Al Jean and Mike Reese as executive story editors this year. So when we were picking our least favourite, it felt, aside from one episode, it felt a bit mean to be picking out our least favourite episodes, but we've done it anyway.
Yeah, so it's not the worst, it's just personal least favourites. So we'll start with the least favourites then, and number 5 on my list was Something's Wrong With Me, which was the one with the horrible hiccups and just lots of jokes about grotty stag nights and Dorothy's wedding, and it's not very Alf.
No, that was also on my bottom 5, as it were, and I was also, whilst looking at these episodes, I remembered that the titles of the episodes were very confusing, and a lot of them didn't really have anything to do with the episode. So if you're keeping score at home, Something's Wrong With Me is otherwise known as Alf Gets Hiccups at a Wedding.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those plots where everybody kind of made the wrong decision to make the plot keep going. Like, the point was, Alf was weeping in the kitchen as the wedding was going on, and they all ran out to stop him weeping. And this waylaid the plot somewhat, and it didn't really need to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, rather than being an efficient plot structure, it was kind of a bit sort of all over the place.
So number 4, We Are Family. Which we've not long done, to be fair, right at the end of the season. Just all over the place. And Alf learns nothing as ever.
No, and again, that's another one where the plot is all over the place. And it's not, the sitcoms are like dominoes. You know, you knock a domino down, they all fall down, and the plot makes its appearance in front of you. But in sort of We Are Family, it was like, well, here's a domino, Alf kicks it over, Willie comes home with a different domino, and it's again, there was no cause and effect in the plot.
No. It was a bit of a struggle to get through. It would have been a struggle to get through my number 3, We're So Sorry Uncle Albert. For the fact we had lovely Paul Abbott on as a guest for that one, which made it just about bearable. But It wasn't bad again, but it was like part 2 of an episode we never got the first part for. We just heard about how awful this Uncle Albert was, and then he turns up and, of course, he's really nice.
Yeah, and it didn't make a great deal of sense because previously we'd learned that Alf was very sad in the Christmas episode about a child dying, and then consequentially he was very happy about Uncle Albert dying because on Melmac, dying was a joyous occasion. So, what's the word? Continuity-wise, it didn't make a great deal of sense.
I was going to go with bollocks, but yeah, no, continuity is probably a bit more...
I didn't pick Uncle Albert as one of my bottom 4, but I did pick Hail to the Chief, which was one of the many dream-based episodes that the writers had to write in order to get some interesting plots going. But this one, all that happened was Kate kept falling asleep and dreaming bits and pieces about Alf becoming a president. And that was it. It was like chunks, and she'd wake up and then Alf would do something else, then she'd fall asleep again and there'd be the second chunk of the dream, and it was all a bit, it was all a bit of a drag, man.
Yeah, well, again, it's like that thing of trying to find something for Alf to do outside the house. It's just not easy. So, yeah. My number 2, also not that far since we've recorded it, Tequila. A very special episode with some great gags, but just a plot which was like, oh, this shouldn't be an Alf. This isn't that sort of show.
It's true. I look back at the episodes and all I remembered of Tequila off the top of my head was just sitting there going, oh, this is boring.
But not as boring as number 1.
Yes.
And I'm going to guess we have exactly the same thing.
We do have exactly the same number 1 choice. I'm quite sure of it.
It's Alf's Special Christmas, which is actively wrong. It's just drippy, it's unfunny, and annoyingly, it's the most seen episode. Like, loads of people have seen that one because it got loads of repeats and stuff. It's like, please don't judge this thing we love. It's a appalling travesty of an episode.
It seems like it was a standalone production. Neither Al Jean nor Mike Reiss had any memories of it at all whatsoever.
No, I think it was farmed out.
From the production, it kind of looks like it was supposed to be a standalone thing that wasn't part of the series. So, continuity problems... be damned.
Yes. So that was my top 5. What else did you have?
That was the same. I was the same as yours entirely, but instead of Where's the Sorry Uncle Albert, I had Hail to the Chief.
Oh, okay. Well, again, it's not like there was loads of bad episodes. It's just, they were always funny. But yeah, some of them just made less sense.
That was it. They were all good gags in them, but when the internal logic broke down, then that was the only reason I could think of to pick them.
When the internal logic breaks down is my favourite prefab sprouts. So let's go to the favourites. This was much easier to pick, and yet harder, because again, it's like picking only 5. There was a lot of episodes that I thought could have gone in here. So I started with number 5, Take a Look at Me Now, from the start of the series, which was basically Raquel accidentally seeing Alf.
Yeah.
And I just liked the interplay between the two, the lengths he goes to make her feel okay after seeing him.
Yeah, it's such a fun episode, and again, as we say every time, it's a shame that the Ockmonarchs didn't get to sort of meet Alf properly, because I think, Raquel would have been fine with it.
Should have got.
I am back at the start of the season, working my way back to you, the episode before that. That was one of my favourites of the year, the season opener, where
right.
They get sick of Alf destroying the house, and he turns himself around and becomes a prim and proper manservant, and cooks them delicious meals, and keeps the house spotless and clean, and everybody realises that they actually hate this and they get sick of him. And then he blows up the kitchen in a fantastic fashion. So it's very funny, and he embroiders the bathroom towels. So what more do you want from an episode?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing with that is that it was a season opener, and it's not a season opener at all because it's completely against type for Alf. But that was the only real criticism I have.
It struck me maybe it was a season opener because Alf is seeing the errors of his ways and he's now improving himself. Maybe he's seeing the error of season 1, and with Al and Mike involved, we are on to a better season 2 with Alf as a more responsible character, comedy-wise.
Yeah. And speaking of them two, number 4 on my list is I'm Your Puppet, which they wrote. A pleasingly odd, very, very funny episode, basically. Just like, it could have gone all meta and weird, but it's not really. It's just, it's just odd. It's just odd enough, but it's not like dark.
Yeah, there's depth to it, and Alf's shrink, Dr. Larry, comes back, and a fine time is had by all, really.
Yep. And obviously we get the comedy dummy as well.
Anything written by Reiss and Jean is always a solid goal. You look back at the 80s.
Mike and Reiss, call them by the names.
Alan Jean. My Uncle Alan, Auntie Jean.
Alan Jean.
You're getting your own tea tonight. We're going round Alan Jean's.
And then they blow up the cooker and fly across the room. It's every week without fail.
That was one of mine as well. I'm Your Puppet was also in my top 5. Mine aren't in a particular order because I am not as organised as you are, Mr. Baker.
Oh, no, I am. Look, at number 3, I actually went with a two-parter, which was Someone to Watch Over Me. Because it's not technically fair to do that, but both parts were great. You had that Mrs. Bird character coming in. It just 2 different kinds of episodes, because obviously the second one's got Alf stuck in the house with all the SWAT outside. It's funny, just really, really funny.
It's interesting to give it a bit more floor space to have fun with the characters and bring in and develop a character like Mrs. Bird. Maybe they should have done that a bit more. Or instead made Alpha an hour-long programme. Always. Every week, and Alf being an hour-long programme. That would be good.
Oh, there would have been so much pathos. Oh, he would have learned so many lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I put my number 3, I put Somewhere Over the Rerun. As we've said, a lot of dream episodes, a lot of fantasy episodes in order to get out of the bottle, the rut of Alf being stuck in the house. And I think Somewhere Over the Rerun, it's where they brought in Gilligan's Island and sent Alf there in a dream sequence. It's mental, it's stupid, it's nuts, but at least they're just kind of going full beans on the dream sequence idea. It's not a mealy-mouthed, wishy-washy idea. They just commit to it and go with it 100%, and it's a great deal of fun.
And that's kind of the same for my number 2, which also messes about with TV and all that stuff. Prime Time, where Alf fiddles the ratings. And it's, again, just like they go for it full tilt. It's bonkers. Yeah. It's fully TV Insider. You've got actual sort of executives played as comedy characters, but so funny.
There's nothing I can add to that. The top 2, which I assume are the same, I couldn't really decide which was best out of the pair of them, and Primetime is a real full beans, full fat classic.
Well, we'll assume number 1 as number 1 for me, Night Train. Oh, good. Good. With the same. Willie and Alf stories are always good when it's just them two. And, the tales of Willie riding the rails as a youth and trying to recreate it. It's just sometimes, the trying to do these sort of sweeter moments doesn't quite fly with Alf, but here it does. And the sweet and silly is good, and lots of references to beans.
Genuinely quite moving, and it expands Willie's backstory, and it reminds us that Alf's backstory is unbearably sad because his plan is exploded, and they reference that without making it a gag.
And I guess that's the thing as well. It's like it's episodes like make you appreciate. Oh no, they could go that direction with it. It's like all of his friends are dead. Sad music, but they don't. Mercifully, very very little in this series, certainly.
My one instinctive memory of Night Train, when I was thinking about this, was when Willie said he used to ride the rails, and he called himself Boxcar Willie, and Alf goes, "Oh, what a cool name! Can I have your autograph?" So Willie reluctantly gives him his autograph, and then when Kate comes in, Alf pretends it was for somebody else. And it made me laugh such a lot.
So that's it. There's our favourites and least favourites from season 2. And I'd love to know yours. Tell us on the social medias. We're on the Blue Sky, we're on the Facebook, and we're on the Instagram, aren't we?
Yeah, and we're on Truth Social, and we're on Mumsnet, we're on Pet Life.
No. Yeah, we're on that one, obviously. But that's private now. Between me and my privates. So, interestingly, looking at the stats for this year, these are mainly from Spotify because that's who now publish this, even though we didn't technically set it up with them. They've eaten Anchor Podcasts, as it once was. But apparently our demographic is male, 71.8%.
Yeah.
Female, 21%. Need to get them numbers up. Non-binary, 5.9%.
Oh, we're cool.
And not specified, 1.3%. Which begs the question, why does anyone need to specify what genre they are as a human being on Spotify? It does not matter at all except to sell your data to other people. Bastards.
We insist if you listen to Alfsplaining, don't tell them what you are.
Yeah, keep it. It's your business, between you and your own whatever. I'm going to say your own God, but that just brings up a whole different bag of worms. Yes, a whole new bag of worms.
It's been a long and troubling year, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long and troubling year.
What do you think his top age range is?
Well, I'm assuming it's 40, 50?
34 to 44.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Then 45 to 59. Then the 28 to 34s. 23 to 27. 5th, the 0 to 17s. I don't know which teenagers are listening to this, but
wow, hey, we're down with the kids, aren't we?
I'm not going on the register.
It must have been that rap I did at the start of this episode.
Clearly, you did have your hat on backwards as well, which did help.
I did. It was a trilby, though.
Well, yeah, you know.
It was big. It was a top hat with a flower in it, like the posh Mr. Men used to wear.
If I've ever thought of anything of you, it is as a posh Mr. Man.
Thank you very much.
Interestingly, even the 18 to 22-year-olds are higher than the 60-plus, who just have no time for our shit, even though they've got more time to listen to podcasts, they refuse.
Well, we've got one, that's my mother, who religiously listens to this, but I'm pleased. I was very keen to get the 18 to 22 demographic up, as it were, but I don't care about the pensioners, so fuck them.
What do you think the top country for listening to Alf-splaining is?
Oh, that's a good point. I assumed it would be this one, but...
It is. 54.7% listeners come from the UK, then the United States,
yeah,
Germany,
okay,
Canada,
ooh,
Australia,
okay,
Ireland,
fair,
France,
oh, that's a surprise,
Switzerland,
oh, they're pretty cosmopolitan.
Hello, Chris, Portugal,
oh,
and Bulgaria.
Oh, well,
who all voted in this week's Heritage Chart. Well done.
Well, I'm pleased. I'm pleased Germany's so high up. You know, you thought it'd be the English-speaking countries that would be up there, but you know, Germany's poking its way in.
Well, how many countries do you think have listened?
How many countries are there?
Oh, at least 10.
Right. In that case, I'll say 12.
60. All in all, the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Taiwan.
Oh.
Hungary.
And yet Bulgaria loves us.
Iran.
Yeah. Well.
The Isle of Man.
The Isle of Man?
That'll be Vicky.
I can see the Isle of Man if I stand on my roof and get the binoculars out. They should be listening to us in droves.
Well, this is and Nigeria is the bottom. So I think it was one person who was just travelling a lot. But those are the stats for season 2 of Alf-splaining. And before we go on to the MVPs, I'd just like to read a small piece that I found in the Courier Journal in January 1988, where someone writes into it, says, what city and state do the Tanner family supposedly reside? Also, is the voice of Alf Dan Aykroyd? Janelle, Columbus. And they say, we don't know. No one's revealed who the voice of Alf is at this point.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah. But the Tanners give several clues in the pilot. Apparently, they make reference to a local radio station that begins with a letter K. And all radio stations beginning with K are west of the Mississippi. So have you got your map?
Nope.
Can you trace these?
Narrow it down to somewhere in, I don't know, Arizona.
But then later in the episode, a military officer looking for Alf says he's from Andrews. Just Andrews, referring, of course, to the Air Force Base, so it must be near enough to the Tanner home that everyone knows he's referring to this specific Andrews.
Okay.
And that is located near Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
These clues, taken together, lead me to deduce that nobody knows where these people live, or, because it's fantasy, it doesn't really matter. Which is fair enough, but again, wrong.
Yeah.
Because they do pretty much say in Los Angeles.
Yes, very possibly, yes.
So I thought that was quite of note. But yes, apparently the voice of Alf is Dan Aykroyd.
Well, who knew?
We should try and get him on.
I'll ask.
We'll just ask him questions about Alf and he could just go, I'm sorry, I've no idea what you're talking. Would you like to discuss my skull vodka? No. Would you like to discuss Blues Brothers 2000? Definitely not. No. Nothing but trouble. Fuck off. So, yeah. It doesn't even sound like Dan Aykroyd.
No, that's the one. No, that's a very good point, actually. That's an observation that I hadn't really thought of, yes, but it doesn't.
If it was Rodney Dangerfield, you go, yeah, definitely.
They could have gotten away with that, actually, couldn't they? They could, if they'd just started that rumour in the press around the time, that might have stuck.
Yeah, I'm sure Rodney Dangerfield himself would have gone along with it. Hey, what you seen? No respect. You know, that's what he did every week without fail. So, it's time for the most valuable person, private mailback person. We never quite worked out what the MVP stood for, but the people who we gave the episode's best of to in each one. And we had quite a number of options in this one. Joint with 1 vote each were Herb.
Good.
Mrs. Buttonwood, which was the Anne Ramsey character.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. One episode, yeah. But yeah.
Raquel.
Only one?
Yeah. His boss's wife, Bernice.
Really?
Yeah, the Halloween one where he falls in love with Gordo. Brandon Tartikoff gets one.
Well, that was deserved.
And Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island going as well.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Next was Geordie. We've got 2. Although one of them was a bit of a pity one from you of the last time.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that, but, you know.
Then it was Mrs. Bird.
Yeah.
Again, solid, great guest star. Funniest thing in both episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
yes,
it's a 3-way tie between Willie,
okay,
Lynn,
right,
and Trevor.
Oh, wow.
Last year's winner.
Oh.
So there are 2 left.
Okay. It's between Kate and Alf then, I suppose, is it?
In second place, the character that we gave the most valuable player in these various episodes of season 2.
These various scenarios, these vignettes that played themselves out in front of us.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I was going to say some shit on my laptop, but yeah, that's classy. Second is a garden somewhere. Alf, which means yes, Kate was the MVP of MVPs for season 2. She won our most beloved for more episodes than not, and I think very well deserved.
It goes to show, doesn't it? She's an excellent performer of, as Mike and Al said, an underwritten character.
Yeah, I've got to say, Anne Shadeen brings everything to that particular character. And again, it's like season 2, if anything, has, even when it's not been a great episode, the performances and the gags lift them up every time.
It's like the main duo is supposed to be sort of Willie and Alf and their constant battling, as it were. But, you know, as we sort of realised a couple of episodes ago, Kate and Alf must spend most of the day as shut-ins at home.
No, yeah.
Most of the daytime hours. So, no, their interplaying back and forth is probably the spine or the heartbeat of the episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. So them 2 being at the top makes perfect sense. Will we see more of that dynamic in Series 3?
Yeah, I don't know. Possibly.
But no, I don't know. But she gets pregnant, doesn't she? Spoilers. It's the pregnancy season next season. So we'll see. We'll see.
Every week in TV Guide, you'll find something fun. For example, in the new TV Guide, Alf goes public with his private diary. His subject is life on planet Earth. And our most notorious alien is in rare form. How does Alf really feel about cat snacking? And is superstardom still no problem? Find out. Just look for Alf on the cover of the new TV Guide. It's on sale now.
So, there's just one final thing.
Can't be anything else, can there?
No, there is. There's one final thing. I asked you to ask people to send us messages. No, we said, can you send us messages, whether it's about Alf or whether it's about Alf splaining or whatever. We'll put them in our end of series roundup episode. And some did.
You filtered through the offensive ones. The death threats.
Well, play this first one and see what you think.
Right, okay.
This can't be real. A speak pipe? It sounds like a parody of Alf's anus.
They say that's you. That's you, isn't it? That's you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that counts. So filtering through the offensive ones. Meh.
I was just testing the system.
Well, you've been testing the system since time began. Oh dear! But thankfully, we did have some actual human beings who sent them in. This
God.
one from Dominic Ashman.
2 seasons in, and still little to no reference of Alison Moy's first album. So I have to say, I am pretty disappointed. But at the same time, quite happy with the references to the 80s sitcom of the same name of Alf, of course. Hoping for more Herb in season 3, but not too hopeful. Nevertheless, keep up the good work, and hope to hear season 3 very soon.
So yeah, it's funny. That is funny. That.
Well, how nice.
That is
how
funny.
nice.
No, sorry, that sounded like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. I genuinely thought it was really funny. Other Alfs are available.
I mean, disappointed but quite happy is quite a good review. I think we'll put that on the posters.
Yeah, no, the T-shirts again. Thank you for that, Dominic. Next, we had this.
Hey, Ben. Hey, John. This is Alf. I've heard you're doing a podcast about me. That's pretty good news.
No, it would sound like Alf himself has sent us a message there.
As far as I can tell, that's incredible, isn't it?
I actually said that to you. I said, who do you think this is? And you did not guess that it was Tim Worthington.
Well,
who was in one of our most popular episodes of Season 2, Prime Time. So if you're not listening to that, go back and listen. And I'm sure we'll be doing something again with him in the near future. I would not hesitate to imagine with my mind.
Something audio-based. I mean, we're not just going to go out and hide behind a bush outside his house and beat him up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been to his house.
Have you?
So, yeah, I can't remember where it is. It was a while ago, but I've been. This next person didn't leave a name, but an absolutely lovely message, which I'm just going to play in full.
Okay.
Hi, John. Hi, Ben. Big fan of the podcast here, and of course, a big fan of Alf. I'm one of your French listeners, or maybe the only one, who knows. Just wanted to say thank you for the pod. I've always really been a big fan of Alf. It had some success here in France, but not as big as in Germany, and there were practically no reruns during the years. I caught an episode of Alf when I was a child, and I was mesmerized by the puppet, thinking it was so freaking cool. I was born in 1999, so you can guess I'm the only person I know who has seen the show or all of it. I'm really fond of the way you guys talked about the show in a very nice, very caring way. Of course, Alf is not one of the best shows ever, but it is genuinely funny and very original. Compared to the blog you mentioned in one of the episodes, which is pretty interesting, but kind of mean-spirited toward this whole show. I also love the pop culture reference of the week. Since I'm a fellow European, it's very easy to miss them, and even worse when you watch the show dubbed. By the way, the French dub of Alf is excellent, Alf being dubbed by one of France's finest voice actors. I hope you guys keep going until the end. Since I work nights, I always have a podcast in my ears, and yours is one of my favorites. Oh, and I love the guest, and great work getting Arjun and Mike Rice on the show. And to finish, I would say that Alf smells like a dog, but like a dog who stayed too long in the sun, if you know what I mean. So thank you very much, guys, and hope to hear more of you.
Yes, we have crossed the seas, John. We have reached a different country. I presume that's who's listening in France from our date earlier.
Hands across the oceans.
No, Hans is more of a German name, not French.
Yeah, you make a good point. You make a good and also funny point.
Thank you for saying that, my friend. Sincerity to the end.
It was a good joke, and I found it amusing.
Hashtag good joke. Yeah, thank you. That was a lovely thing to receive. It was actually the first thing we got as well. So I'm like, oh, well, if they're all on the quality of that, then we're going to have outpourings of emotion. And then they weren't.
Yeah, it took a turn for the worse.
Well, I don't know. We did have a final one.
Okay.
And it was from Alfan 3000, which was intriguing. So let's see who this is.
Hello, Ben. John's mother here. Just wanted to let you know how much I enjoy your podcast, and the tequila one particularly. My favourite line was, "I don't remember eating that," which you put on at the end, and I was so pleased.
Now that's lovely.
Isn't it?
That's your mother, isn't it?
She is, yeah. A genuine listener and fan.
Well, it's lovely. Not only that A, she did that, and B, she purely addressed it to me. And she didn't cuss or nout. It was very nice of her.
Yeah.
Very kind. And in answer to your question, yes, I am available. No, that's lovely. So a few speak pipes there. Don't forget, if you want to keep sending them, we're going to keep that open. Speakpipe.com/alsplaining. And if we get anything throughout the next series, we'll slide them in where necessary.
Don't say that. It'll put people off.
No. You highlighted it as made it a dirty thing. It wasn't a dirty thing. It was a nice, kind thing, and you've made it grubby.
I fear that every time we mention speak pipe, it sounds dirty anyway, and whatever we say will just add to the gruesome disillusionment.
Oh, I saw them at Reading Festival in 1996. They were rubbish.
But the speak pipe remains open. Our speak pipes are open and proud.
Just piping into the speak. That's it. It's there forever. And people have been very kind. They've been getting to us, but there's a bunch of references that we've not got and stuff. Like the other week, people were telling us about what a rubber hose thing was.
Oh, yes,
apparently
yes.
A nice way of beating someone unconscious and that. There's something, people have generally been great. And just keep it coming. So we're on the social medias, and we will be throughout the summer, but we won't be starting Series 3 until October.
That's ages off. I can't wait that long.
I know, but that's it. Well, we're going to continue following their transmission patterns, and basically it did not start again until the start of October. But we will try and we will have other things going on this summer, some specials, hopefully some more interviews and that. Definitely get some of us pals involved and that. But for the actual episode reviews, we're going to be taking a short hiatus.
But we will be here. We're not leaving you entirely. There will be regular great content. We've got some interesting and fascinating and fun things planned for the summer. So don't be thinking we've abandoned you.
Yeah, in fact, some of that is for the Patreon as well. So I don't want to say that if you want bonus us, but that is kind of the point of a Patreon. So it's patreon.com/AlfSplaining where there is bonus us in audio and video.
We'll be round on all the social media platforms like Telegram and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Reddit, Pinterest.
Yep.
Quora, Weibo.
We'll be round.
Oh, we'll be there.
About 4:30 morning, texting you up.
Truth Social.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to conclude this farrago of a series.
I think you'll find it's a fiasco.
You know what? In the spirit of end of season friendship, I will leave. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to Series 2. See you in Series 3.
See you soon.
Woo!
I'm coming back sooner or later, so stay right there, you couch potato. Ah!